I think quite often activists do have at least the kernel of a good idea. And I think the fact that our research shows that on average they are creating long-term value suggests that they're right more often than they're not. The activists I've worked with are extremely analytical, they're very sharp, very rational people, and often they have a pretty positive story to be told that should be at least paid attention to. They're not always right, but I think their batting average isn't bad. I think managements often overreact when an activist gets involved. And by the way, I have sympathy for that. It's not a criticism. I think it is startling to discover that somebody is now owning a chunk of your company and is going to have some direct discussions with you and maybe your board about what you should be doing. It's a pretty threatening feeling, so I have some sympathy, but I do think they are overreacting. I think when an activist feels like your first and second response is defensive and simply refuting everything they've said, then the activists get defensive and they go into a different posture as well. You've given them no reason to think they're not right. They still have strong convictions, so they're going to double down in intensity, and they're going to hunker down for the fight. A fight they're pretty good at, a fight they know how to fight, one that management often does not know how to fight. I think sometimes the disconnect is a coldly rational view versus an emotional point of view. I also think the disconnect sometimes takes place because management really does understand something about their business, their strategy, the direction. They're not that good at articulating it. Two of the most common things activists come in believing is that either your costs are too high, or you shouldn't be in all these businesses that you're in, that the portfolio needs a shakeup. Management teams, I think, often see more synergies among the businesses within their portfolio than the activist would. Sometimes management's right about that, and those synergies either haven't been well communicated or they haven't been fully exploited. But their view is if you take out this piece of me, the rest of me is not as good. And they may have a point. Sometimes they don't have a point. It's just they've gotten comfortable with that. But when they do have a point, it also may be true they haven't really exploited the synergies as effectively as they could. And I think that's a good conversation to have with an activist as well.